Hello, hello. It's Terry Levine here from Heartrepreneur. Good to be with you. I have like the most wonderful, lovely surprise ever, ever, ever. Stacey, how long have we known each other now?
Oh, it's been 25 years, I think, at
I'm
least.
thinking
Maybe
it's like
more.
25, 30. It's incredible. So I am so happy that Stacey is here with me. So we have known each other. We've been on this journey for a long, long time. I have helped Stacey. I've consulted with Stacey, and mostly I have watched Stacey bloom and grow, and not just develop an incredible business, but truly develop methodology that has helped so many people that I just had to bring her to you. She has incredible information. She loves sharing the information. And I'm going to get the best out of Stacey Hylen, my guest today. So, Stacey, tell people a couple of things. It says the stream is not working. All right, let's not worry about it. If it's on my personal page and not in the group, we'll move it over there later. Who knows? Facebook is Facebook. So, Stacey, tell people a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Sure. I started coaching probably right after Terry did, and we met at the Philadelphia Area Coaches Alliance when Terry was like the person everybody was looking at that just like filled up her practice right away, and it was really inspiring. And I was really cognizant when I built my coaching practice because I had been in sales before and I was always a top performer in sales. And when my dad got diagnosed with cancer in late September and died the day before Thanksgiving, it really broke my heart, obviously, but it also really made me realize that I wanted to create a life that wasn't just obsessed with my business and growing my business, but also had that lifestyle freedom involved as well, which really created my mission of giving entrepreneurs back to their families. So helping them grow and prosper and still be able to take vacations, do things with their families, that was super important to me. And then, so I started coaching and I was doing the whole BNI thing, getting up at 4 a.m., nursing the baby and going to BNI. And it was not my ideal client, right? It was not. And so that's actually you introduced me to Chet Holmes,
I
which
did.
was
Yes,
such
I
a
did.
beautiful, beautiful thing that I'm still grateful for to this day, because that led to me working for Tony Robbins and coaching with him, which was a full circle moment because I had considered working with Tony before I started my own coaching business. So I was able to work with Chet, work with Tony, really get a lot of high level mentoring from them. And one thing that really stuck with me about them was like being resourceful and being resourceful for my clients. And so that's where, the sales and marketing and putting these things together, I've put together everything into a system to add a zero without hustle, so that, because there's certain things, if I look back at my clients, they've gone from 5 figures to 6 figures, 6 to 7. And I've even had multiple clients go all the way from 6 to 8 figures when we've been working together. And I really dissected like what was it that we did, and they're doing the same things, but it just kind of evolves at a different level of how they're doing the thing, right? We revisit the same thing multiple times and dig deeper into it. So that's been my journey, and I'm really excited to be here today.
Yeah, I am so excited to have you. And, it's really interesting because the topic we want to talk about is raising your rates. And, what's so funny is I was working with a group of my clients on Monday on Zoom, and two clients on Monday said to me, "How do I know when it's time to raise my rates?" And I said, "Come, be here, watch this live." By the way, if you're watching live, just put a hashtag live. If you're watching on replay later, do hashtag replay just so we know that you got to see us. So I'm going to tell you kind of my progression of the first time I raised my rates. And then I want you to share a little bit about that as well. So when I started in the industry, I almost cannot believe this. It's 34 years ago. I don't even understand where time has gone. So when I first started, I honestly had no idea about anything other than at the time, the average coach consultant was charging $250 a month for 4 1 hour sessions. I mean, I'm chuckling now because that's hilarious. And so I had 30 clients in 30 days. And when I looked at those numbers, I went, in order to get to seven figures or even high six, I'm going to literally kill myself. I mean, I'd have to be working 24/7. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so at first I didn't think about groups. So the first thing I did was, oh, I'm just going to raise my rates. So I went from 250 a month to 300 to 350. And then I started, well, you only get 3 half-hour sessions until I figured out groups. What was really interesting is the first time I did it, Stacey, I just didn't, it wasn't even email back then because we were so antiquated. I sent a letter to my current clients. And I had 31 clients. I still remember this. And my coach said, oh, you'll lose more than half of them. And I said, I can't stay in business like this. Doesn't make sense. So I sent a letter with a because in it where I truly explained why I had to raise rates. No one left. Then I raised them again and no one left. And then I raised them again. And I just realized that it was me creating all these stories about, well, people will leave. So I'd love your feedback on that. And then let's get into some tips and some advice for people who are really ready to raise their rates or who are too scared to raise their rates.
Yeah.
Both.
I think that's really important because first of all, it wasn't sustainable what you were doing, right?
Not at
And
all.
so if it's not sustainable for you as the coach, number one, you're not modeling something that's sustainable for your clients. Number two, you're not serving your clients to the highest good because you're burned out, stressed out. Your brain is not allowed to be creative and have all of that there. And third is like, it's the confidence, right? That's always what I tell my clients is that you have to sell yourself on raising the rate before you can say it to your client, right? Because it's really an inside job when you raise your rates before you even like write that letter, write the email, send it out, that you have to believe it. Because if you don't believe it, then your clients won't believe it. And I remember the first time I raised my rates as I was going, but I remember my first scary raising my rates. I was charging $350. And this was when I was doing, a lot of coaching and I had gone to an event with Yannick Silver years ago when he did the underground. And I had stood up at the underground and done some live coaching for somebody that was on the stage that wanted coaching. And I got swarmed with all of these people that came rushing at me to give me their cards that they wanted me to coach them because of what I had said. And this guy, I got on the phone with him and I was at 350 and said, okay, I'm going to raise my rate. I'm going to raise my rate. These are qualified people. They know what I can deliver just from me being at the microphone for 3 minutes. And I was so nervous and I spit it out, $500.
The first time, yeah.
I spit it out and he said, oh, I thought it would be much more. I was so upset. I couldn't believe that after all of that drama and all of that internal drama that I had done, that I said $500 and he was like, I thought it would be more. Like that just showed that my limit was not my client's limit or my perfect client. And he was a perfect client. He went on to be on the Inc. 5000, fastest growing companies several years in a row. Fantastic company and client, but it was my mindset that limited me. So I don't want my clients to do that because there's all this money you're leaving on the table by not believing in yourself and by not believing in the value that you're offering to your clients.
I love that you said that because I was reading an article in a psychology journal recently, and it was about the fear that entrepreneurs have about whatever they're charging. They're afraid to raise their rates. They haven't raised their rates. And I remember when I first started, good Lord, so long ago in the art business, right? In the art business. And I remember this painting that somebody was looking at was a more expensive painting. Back in the day, it was like $450 and most of them were like $100. And this is how it came out. Oh, that one's $450. And of course the person didn't buy because I was basically like, oh, don't buy that. And then after I was in the art business for a while, we started to carry like Leroy Neiman's and really expensive art. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, Stacey, you're looking at that. Well, that's Leroy Neiman. He's a pretty famous artist. That piece is only $3,000. And let me tell you, for Leroy Neiman, that's a really good. And it was all about me shifting this. So I'm glad that you mentioned that because part of it is this. What would you say to someone who is like, oh, everyone will leave if I raise my rates, or then I won't have any clients. I'm having trouble getting clients at this number. What would you say to that?
Right. Well, I think sometimes one of the things is that you're not attracting the best clients when you have the lowest rates, right? I have a client that's paying anywhere, like he's been with me for years, and he's been paying anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a year to work with me. And he does all of his homework. He asks the best questions. He gets results. He's gone from 6 to 8 figures since we've worked together, right?
Wow.
And so you're going to get the people that really want to get the results. If they're using the price increase as an excuse to leave, then they're not really believing in themselves. They're not really believing in the result that you can help them get. So what I would do is, I love this book, Affirmations by Noah St. John.
I have that.
Isn't that a great book? And so I've interviewed him a few times. So what affirmations do is they help your brain ask the questions that you want your brain to answer. So like usually you ask your brain stuff like, well, probably not you because you've done all the mindset work, but people will say like, why am I so stupid? Or why did I do that? Or right. And your brain will fill in answer of why are you so stupid? Right. Very easily.
Exactly.
Because that was a dumb thing to say. And because you this and that, and it just goes on and on and on. But if you ask yourself an affirmation question, like, why am I worth my new rates? Now, all of a sudden your brain is going to be like, well, because my client got this result, because my clients believe in me and need me, for guidance, and they're getting the results that they want. Why do my clients love working for me? So if you start priming your brain, right? If you've seen my cousins have one of those hand pumps to get water at their cottage.
Yeah.
And when you start to prime that, do the pump with a dry pump, you could literally be there for half hour, 45 minutes, cranking that thing, your arms falling off. You're trying to enroll all your cousins to take a turn, right? And there's no water. But if you take a little bit of water and you pour it in the top of the pump,
exactly,
the water, like it's minuscule of the amount of effort, and the water just gushes through. So I think we have to do this with our brain, right? We have to prime that pump of like, why are I worth my new rate? Why are my clients excited to work with me? Why are my clients raving about my results? Why are my clients staying with me, right? And you might even need to go through your clients if this is a fear of yours and look at like, why should that person stay with you, right? Mm-hmm. Like look at like, what's that future that you see for that client that they might not even see for themselves. I like to see things as possibility. One of my clients Voxered me this morning, which is a little app on my phone, and similar to the Marco Polo that you use with coaching. And, I said to her, this question came up, and I said, I see this for you, not this year, but like probably in 2025, this is where I'm seeing you go with that. And she was like, oh, you're always putting those little breadcrumbs in my brain to go to the next level. So look at your clients, look at what's possible for them, look at what that next evolution of working with you is, that then they're really excited about. They're moving towards a new thing with you, not just staying this way.
So, we all have to be on the journey of growth and possibilities and potential for our clients. And I love that we could see that before they see it. I mean, I think that for me is what attracted me to coaching and consulting, is like, I can think bigger. I can see people's potential. And it's why I love having my own mentors, right? Because of that. One of the things that you said that really, really resonates with me is when you raise your rates, you get better clients. And I have experienced that clients that I've had, the client family that I've had for years and years and years, are the people who are truly committed to their results. Mm-hmm. And, it's interesting. I've asked somebody recently, a friend of mine who really wants help with their business. And I don't want to be their business consultant, but I was going to send them to a friend. And I said, how committed are you? She said, I'm really committed. I have to achieve this. I said, okay. The person I'm thinking of is probably going to charge you, I think their fee is $25,000. And she said, $25,000 for what? That's absurd. And she went on, and I went, you know what? She's not going to take you. She went, what? I said, she takes people who see their potential, believe in their potential, and are willing to invest. So that's something I always look at. In the olden days, when I offered very low priced coaching and consulting, I got clients who were like, sort of in, If I show up, I show up. If I don't, I don't. And as I have, and I've been at a fixed fee for quite a while now, as I've been at this rate for a long, long time, I get people who are so committed, who are so serious. And I find that to be what I want to do. We want to help people. We're coaching, we're consulting. We're not just doing it to get no results. We want to make sure we get results. So can you speak to any of that? Well, I know that you can.
Yeah, it's funny because I run a mastermind for the YEC, which is the Young Entrepreneurs Under 40 Over $1 Million. And it was supposed to be a 6-month mastermind. We're now in our 4th year.
Wow, holy cow.
Yes, and 100% keep renewing. So it just goes to show, like, the people that have that high mindset are willing to invest. And the funny part is we were laughing really hard because we just started a new session last month. Like, the new session started. And so one of the attendees missed the meeting because I think he was in Yosemite. And he said he hadn't entered the new year on his calendar, but we have never had somebody miss a session. And so we were teasing. We're like, 4 years, you ruined our streak. Because those people that are paying more, they're committed, they're looking at their results, and they're looking at working with you as a way to help them speed up and accelerate those results.
Exactly. And so because, we talked, I don't know, a month ago, 6 weeks ago, and you were like, I want to show people how to raise their rates. Can you talk about how people can get access? And everyone should really be tuned in. If you're here live, do #live. If you're watching a replay, #replay, because Stacey is actually giving away some free consulting. And
yes, and it's interesting because you said, like, people, my mentor, Chet Holmes, always said people have to pay attention. So I'm very, very, it's rare that I give away free advice, right? Because people don't take it. So I really only want people that are there, that are implementers, that are like, yes, I want to do this. I'm committed. I'm going to take the action. And so you go to raiseyourratesmasterclass.com. Again, raiseyourratesmasterclass.com. And the funny part about this is, as soon as I said that I was doing Raise Your Rates Masterclass. One of my clients who's been with me going on 4 years, she Voxered me. She's like, I think I need to raise my rates again. And she's raised her rates in 4 years, like, multiple times. And so it was just funny because it just showed that she's paying for coaching. She's not even in this free class, but she was like, she just saw me talk about it once on Facebook. And she was like, okay, I got to raise my rates. Yep. Right. But, most people aren't there yet because they don't have that level of support and the belief, because we've mapped out her whole business. We've mapped out what her perfect clients want. We've mapped out the messaging. She's getting the sales process is working for her. So what I want to do in the Raise Your Rates Masterclass is, first of all, help you with that mindset shift, right? Because people think that they can't raise their rates because everything else is going up. And that's not true, right? Just because the price of eggs or the price of chicken or, toilet paper is going up doesn't mean you can't raise your rates. I had a client that, again, he went from 6 to 8 figures, a different client, and he had been eating the price increases from his suppliers. He actually had a physical product, and he'd been eating those price increases for years. And I was like, as a coach, your head starts to, like, explode when you hear these things, and you're like, ah. And I said to him, you have got to, you wouldn't be giving all this money to these people as a Christmas gift or a Hanukkah gift, right? So why are you giving them all this money, right? You're eating this. It's costing you money. It's money you can't give to your employees as bonuses. So he was really nervous about it. And because it had been years. So I said, what you need to do is you need to educate them of what it is that they're getting. What's the value that they're getting from you? Because even though he had a physical product he was selling, he had a lot of support around that physical product that his competitors just didn't have. Then he let them know, like, listen, this is, I've kept my prices the same for 5 years, and, all my prices have been going up for 5 years, and I've locked that in for you. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a price rate increase, and you let your clients know that you're going to have a price increase. right? Because you're going to see a quick burst in sales, which also helps you get over that fear to spit that new price out of your mouth or write it in the email. Because you say, oh, I'm having a price increase on September 1st. Then people are like, oh, can I buy extra sessions? Can I buy that package? Can I buy a VIP day? Whatever it is that you're selling. Maybe it's your online course that you're raising your prices. So you'll have a big boost of sales right then. And then you'll have an increase in sales from raising your rates.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you addressed that. And by the way, just make sure you have a note of the link, raiseyourratesmasterclass.com. It's probably the only time you'll get free access to Stacey. Take advantage of it. I'm doing it. It's funny. Sometimes the coach is the teacher and sometimes the teacher is the coach, right? And that's how it works. Where I see us more.
It's having that openness, right? And I think you're an endless learner, but you're also an implementer, right? So that's the thing. Like you can be an endless learner and not do anything and you're not going to get any results. It's like putting a fitness magazine on your coffee table. You're not going to get any results. I like that. I did start priming that pump. So since the beginning of August, I've been priming the pump in the Raise Your Rates Masterclass, even though we don't start till the end of the month, because we're working on abundance. And I'm actually sharing the same abundance challenge that I'm doing with my high level mastermind. I'm doing for free in the group. So definitely get in there now and start doing the abundance exercises so that when we go to Raise Your Rates, your brain is already like, oh yeah, I am worth it. I got this.
Yeah, I'm already in there, and the content that's in there, I'm being absolutely serious. Normally people would be charging high level for this content, and it's fabulous. So I know the class is going to be crazy good. It's so important, and I'm so glad we're addressing this. It all starts with you, and it starts with your belief. It's funny. I have a friend that owns a restaurant, and after COVID, they were really, really struggling. They said, we're going to have to lower our rates. This is just a friend of mine. I'm not their business consultant. I went, no, actually, you need to raise your rates. And they would raise my rates. Everyone's complaining about pricing. I'm like, everyone will complain about pricing. And the people who are creating great value like you are and have a restaurant that people love, you can raise your rates. So they raised them in increments. They did it over 3 months, a little bit. And each time, even on their menu, they explained, our cost of produce went up. Our cost of eggs went up. Our cost of employment went up. We can't find people for, and so I'll tell you what, they're so jammed. I can't even get in there.
It's all your fault.
Right, it's my fault, and I'll take responsibility for it. To me, it's so critical that you stop worrying about these things. I survived the quote .com crash. My business went through the roof. The quote recession stock market problem in what was that, 2008 or something? We did better. COVID, we did over $600,000 of an increase in those 3 months. Wow. So I don't sit here going, oh, well, this is happening and that's happening. I have to lower my rates. I sit here and say, there are still people who want my help. And the right implementers will be all in and they're not going to run away. I'm meeting with, I met with 2 of 3 companies. I have one more this afternoon because I'm hiring somebody to do something for us at Heartrepreneur. And the first company was really inexpensive. And just so you know, that turned me off. I thought, low price. The second company, it's like more medium price, pretty good services. Well, the third company that I am actually meeting with this afternoon sent me a proposal with pricing first. And at first I wasn't going to have the meeting because it's like triple the other companies. Then along with that, very smartly, they sent me a huge video of case studies and testimonials and their guarantee. By the end of it, I thought, well, I'm not going to go with the low price. I'm not sure I'm going with the middle price. I want the best. So I'm probably going to say, instead of $3,600 a month, I'm probably going to be paying closer to $9,000 a month. I want the best. So remember that when you're raising your rates. So what's going to happen inside this masterclass? Tell us a little bit, will you?
Like I said, we're already priming that pump, getting your mindset ready because that's so important. And then we're going to look at the mindset that you need. And I'm going to give you specific tools so that when you go to spit it out of your mouth, that you can do it, right? Or when you go to press send on the email. And I've done this with clients for over 20 years now. So lots of experience of all the things that people tend to do. In fact, I had a client who's in the mastermind and she had one of those large banks that failed recently as a client, right? And she coaches tech people. And so she lowered her rates after we'd been raising her rates for the last 4 or 5 years. And I was like, no. So, like, I know what happens. Like you were saying, like the .com crash, all these things people think is a reason to lower your rates. No, the people that are paying are still paying the premium prices. So we're going to talk about how to position yourself as premium, right? I talk about how to go from a commodity to couture, right? And that means like there's so many commodities in coaching. Like it's this person, that they're all the same, right? So how do you stand out in a sea of sameness so that you become the couture that people are like, I want to work with that person, right? And that's what I want for you, and I want your pricing to reflect that. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about some ways you can increase your average sale. So not necessarily all just price raises, but a simple way that you can boost that average sale. Like I've had clients go from $800 average sale to $2,500, from $1,500 to $9,600 average sale, right? So, I'm going to teach you some simple ways to do that and actual action steps. I don't like the fluffy things where people don't tell you what to do. I'm actually going to show you, like, here's some of the ways that you can say this. Here's how you can position it. Here's how you can prime the pump in your mindset. And I'm going to have some fun bonuses and things like that are part of the adding a zero without a hustle. Raising your rates is just one step of adding a zero without hustle. So we're going to talk about some of those things for people that are ready to think bigger and add that zero.
I love it. I love it. And I will tell you that Stacey has already, I'm in the group, I'm taking this advantage of this free class. There's already a ton of value in there. So there it is, raiseyourratesmasterclass.com. And I want to just let the audience know something that I think is really important. We've got about 8,000 members here in our Facebook family, and I love this community. And sometimes people say, why didn't you interview me? Or why didn't you interview me? I have to know you. I have to have experienced you. I have to know that if I'm going to tell folks about you, that you're the real deal. Stacey is the real deal. Like we've said, we've known each other a long time. It's total truth. And I remember when I referred you over to Chet, it was just a couple months into that. And I was on a call with Chet, and I always remembered this. And he was thanking me for some of the people I sent. And it wasn't like, oh, thank you for sending a bunch of people. It was like, oh, thank you. You connected me with a few people. It was. And Stacey Hylen and Stacey, and I kid you not, like that is an absolute truth. And you were just, someone that can do the coaching and consulting at the highest level. She shares her secrets. RaiseYourRatesMasterclass.com. Get in there. Stacey, wow, this one's so fast. Any last minute tips that you want to share? Where we go.
I'm so good. That's so good to hear that from what Chet said, because it was just the anniversary of his passing this weekend. And so it's good to hear that from beyond. But I think it's like surrounding yourself with big thinkers. And, Chet, when he hired me, I was the second coach he brought on, right? Because he had a very high level program and he was charging a lot of money. So he wanted coaches that could, in my case, it was a lot of money. It was like $2,500 a month we were charging. But then when I went on to consulting, it started at $50,000 a month and then $30,000 a month after that. So I just want to say, like, I've had that courage to say those things. I don't really like doing the consulting with the big companies. I actually decided I didn't want to do that because my heart and soul is with the entrepreneurs that are bootstrapping. And so I didn't like that environment. So I've had that courage, and I want you to have that courage to say the rates for your business so you can serve more, so people take it seriously, so they get better results. And it's like it's a snowball effect that you're going to charge more, you're going to get better clients, and then you're going to get better results for them. Then they're going to refer more people. So it's a big snowball, and I can't wait to share it with you guys.
I'm so excited. Stacey's the real deal. Get in there. Raise Your Rates Masterclass. She is doing this at no charge. I'm probably never going to do it again. Get in there. I'm in there. I'll be in there with you. And she's already started dropping in so much value. Stacey, I want to thank you for being here. Those of you here live, thanks for joining us. Those who watch the replay, do #replay and just head over right now. Literally, don't put it out of your mind. Do it while you're thinking of it. RaiseYourRatesMasterclass.com, and I'll see you in there. Stacey, thank you so much. You are so amazing.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. Bye, everybody. Create an extraordinary day. Bye now.
Bye.